A very good evening to you all and welcome to A Date with Dinner Set, programme 225 here on November the 10th, Remembrance Sunday. You are most welcome wherever you are, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the catch-up. Oh, hi Barb, good to see you. Now what I want to know what's going on. They've got sundown in Wiltshire, sun in Hereford. I mean, what is going on today? Cartoony thingy, says my brother. Looney Tune, says Hannah. Indeed, we're all on the right track. That was the theme music to Tom and Jerry. So it popped into... what did it pop into? I suddenly came across a little scrap of sheet music a couple of months ago, and I thought, we need to have that as an opening one. Great bit of music. And it first appeared in 1940. And the original Tom and Jerry cartoon series, as I'm sure you know, ran for 161 episodes. I wonder how many of those 161 they would be willing to show these days. Great fun, and that tune brings back such memories, doesn't it? Good evening, Rosie. How lovely to see you. So that was the opening theme this evening, Tom and Jerry, and it was composed by this person, Mr. Scott Bradley, who for a time was a house musician for Walt Disney, and then went into writing more involved music for films. He wrote quite a bit of music, but his biggest oeuvre, if you like, was the whole scores for the Tom and Jerry films, but he also did some of the other ones from Hanna-Barbera, apparently. So there we go. I'm going to stick with cartoon thingy though, because I rather like that actually. I hope you've had a good week. Is it me, or has it been a quick week? This one, it seems to have flown by. It has, but never mind. We are here on A Date with Dinner Set. I had a lovely email a couple of days ago from somebody who said, you probably don't know this because I'm not in the chat room, but I listen to your programme and watch you every week, and it is the highlight of my week. Now, isn't it nice when you get emails like that in your inbox? Really, really nice. I hope you will enjoy the music we've got lined up for you this evening on A Date with a Dinner Set. Our usual mix of things going on. If you're in the chat room and live, and if you want to, do feel free to join in the chat with what the music is, the composer, the context, or anything else you wish to speak about. The sun, it would say, a third of the way through the month. Yes, very good. You were always good at maths, weren't you, brother? I have to say. Very good on that one. Okay, let's have a sip of coffee. That's the important thing. And then we will get on with the show. sneaky segue. We don't do that. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't try and trick anyone, Hannah, would we? Ever. Anyway, that was our opening little number this evening. It was indeed Hello Dolly. I wanted to say eventually, but in my head, it always started off as Hello Dolly. So apologies if I led you up the wrong garden path without a paddle on the tree or something. So there we go. So that one was, of course, as we say, Hello Dolly, originally 1963, starring Carol Channing. Very recently, in fact, I was outside the Palladium a couple of months ago, and I thought, gosh, didn't realise it was on there. They did a 10-week run, the 24 West End revival of Hello Dolly, starring Imelda Staunton. Apparently, it was very good. So it is still very much around, a very, very popular show, composed by Mr. Jerry Herman. I decided to change our picture of Jerry Herman to there. That's more what he looked like when he composed Hello Dolly. He also composed the hit musical Mame, and a couple of decades later, La Cage aux Folles. Quite a character, and one of the bigs of Broadway, if you like. So that was our opening one this evening, a jolly little Hello Dolly to get us going on a date with a dinner set. If you've happened upon this and you are not already subscribed to the channel, then please do consider doing so. It's YouTube, so of course it is free to do so. Press that subscribe button. And if you want to know when things are happening on the channel, such as the Friday upload, it's so good I'll say it twice. I say it twice because we didn't get many views this week. More of that later. So do subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We would love to have you here on the channel. So, I'm still very excited about this sun in Wiltshire and Hereford. We have not seen it around here. It's been grey. And I was discussing it with my ex at lunchtime today, and it's the anti-cyclone. The anti-cyclone. I've always been against cycloning in myself, actually, that's causing the grey. But apparently, in this area, in smug Surreyshire, there may be some sun tomorrow. We shall see. Do enjoy our next song. Hello, David. Very nice to see you. Yes, indeed. Mark and Jill and Bob. That was Forever Autumn. Forever Autumn. Yes, very haunting. I absolutely agree. We know it as the haunting ballad from Jeff Wayne's musical version of War of the World from 1978. It's one of those iconic ballads. And we also know it as famously sung by Justin Hayward, doing a very creditable impersonation of a young Barry Manilow there, I feel. But the distinctive voice of Mr. Justin Hayward, as my brother said, one time the lead frontman of the Moody Blues, still going strong, is Mr. Justin Hayward. So that song, Forever Autumn, had a very interesting history. So as I say, 1978 was when we became conscious of it in the musical version of War in the Worlds, but it was around a fair bit before that. And this is the fascinating little nugget you can take away with you and do what you like with it, but this is a great one, this. It started its life, that tune, in 1969 as a Lego commercial. Yeah, Jeff Wayne wrote that theme as an instrumental, as a Lego commercial. I cannot tell you for what country, because my extensive research didn't seem to have that page there. Someone had ripped it out. I'm not quite sure what was going on there. 1969, a Lego commercial. Then it appeared in 1972 as the song Forever Autumn. It was actually released. And when Jeff Wayne was putting together his War of the Worlds, he knew that as part of his storyline, what he wanted to happen, he said, he thought, I want a song that's a bit like Forever Autumn. And after having tried a few times, he thought, you know what, if I want a song like Forever Autumn, why don't we actually have the original and some copy? So he put his own song back into it, and that's how it got into War of the Worlds. I know, isn't it fascinating? The stuff that comes out on this programme is amazing. But it's in the autumn canon, if you like. I'm just looking across at my desk, and there's a whole list. Songs what I want to play in autumn 2024, and there's a couple left. Autumn's still going on, very much, isn't it? Very mild autumn, and indeed sunny, as it would seem, in Wiltshire and Hereford. For 2 hours, don't show off, brother, please. But yeah, the mild autumn goes on, and long may it continue. So that was our second one this evening. Hope you enjoyed that one. So I know, a long way, brother. I'm surprised you don't remember it, actually, because you're very up on old things, are you not, dear brother? So there we go. I do hope that you enjoyed that one. We are going to move swiftly on with our next piece of music this evening. I hope you will enjoy this one. Wow, Maggie, that's amazing. Gosh. You see, folks, you hear and see it all here on A Date with a Dinner Set. Excellent, Jerry. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. I had remembered that, brother. Just as I swung away my microphone, I did remember that you went to see the Moody Blues at the NEC. Excellent. And then, as Hannah and Jean both said, that was indeed What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life? And it was composed by Michel Legrand, and with an absolutely stunningly superb lyric by Marilyn and Alan Bergman. And it's one of my favourite ballads of Michel Legrand. For interest, it's neither major nor minor. Michel Legrand, in his own words, I heard him say it at Ronnie Scott's. That song is written in the Lydian mode. Marilyn and Alan Bergman tell a few anecdotes about that song. It was actually composed for a film, and they were having trouble trying to get the right feel for their song. And Michel Legrand apparently had come up with about 8 tunes, but Marilyn and Alan didn't like any of them. And then Marilyn came up with that opening line, what are you doing the rest of your life, north and south and east and west of your life? And that was it. Apparently, within a few hours, Michel Legrand had composed the song that we know and love. And then the anecdote goes on that Michel Legrand disappeared from their Hollywood home, and who should pop round for a cup of tea but Barbra Streisand, who was great friends with Marilyn and Alan Bergman. And she saw this scrap of manuscript on the piano, and Barbara, being Barbara, said, what is this? I just simply have to know what this song is. Do you sing and play it for me? So they sang and played it for her. And then she took over, as probably only Barbara could, and sang the song. And then she said, what's it for? And Marilyn and Alan Bergman said, it's for this film that's being done. And Barbara said, I simply have to sing that song. Can you arrange it for me to sing the song? The song that became the theme tune to this film, The Happy Ending. No, I've not really heard of it either. But apparently it did quite well in certain circles, and it does have a happy ending. Anyway, so Barbra Streisand really was determined that she was going to be the person to sing the song, but the Bergmans, the lyricists, said, no, you can't. The directors already decided they want it sung by a male and somebody anonymous, and apparently Barbra Streisand was not giving up, and she said, I can be anonymous. Yeah, so anyway, that didn't happen. But Barbra Streisand did actually record it. It took, I think, about 4 years for her to do her version. 1973, I think, was her version. And it's the B-side of The Way We Were, Memories the Way We Were by Marvin Hamlish. It's one of those standards, What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life? It's been composed. It's been covered by lots and lots of people. Johnny Mathis, Frank Sinatra, Andy Williams, Tony Bennett, Sarah Vaughan, to name but a few. It is a very wistful and beautiful song. And if you don't know the words, they're well worth looking up because they're all part of the story. Absolutely good for Barbara. The Streisand effect in yes, the daily Streisand effect, shall we say, going on. This week's upload, I got really into my Barry Manilow. Having played a few bits and pieces, I just got back into the harmony, and I was starting to look at his back catalogue. It's quite stupendous. For about 10 or 12 years, which is a long time, he had hit after hit. So I changed my mind, and the uploads in November this year are all going to be covers of Barry Manilow songs. So the one that I did this week, which 29 people so far have viewed, thank you, I Write the Songs, which ironically he didn't. This was one of the ones that he didn't write. It was composed by Bruce Johnston, who wrote a lot of the Bee Gees hits. It was first recorded by Captain and Tennille in 1975, and in the UK the same year by David Cassidy. Barry Manilow's version, which became the bestseller in the world of the versions, didn't come out until November of that year. But Barry took the song and did other things with it, as only Barry Manilow can, in his incredible style of arranging, playing the piano and singing, And of course, there's at least 2 key changes for you to enjoy there. Good evening, Martin. Good evening, Jeannie. How lovely to see you. And some fireworks, as you can see. Yeah, I decided to accompany the key change with some fireworks because it really is one of those explosive key changes that happens in a Barry Manilow song. Did you know, for instance, there are 4 key changes in his hit Can't Smile Without You? At least 4. You heard it here, folks. So that was this week's upload on the channel. If you want to go directly to it, rather than try and navigate through 545 videos or whatever I've got on my channel, there is a link, as always, in the video description for you to be able to do that if you fancy a bit of BOSSA. So, I think that might be a spell check going on there, Alison, actually. Jeannie does have magical qualities. She pops out of a bottle at the drop of a hat, I know. So our next bit of music is a bit of a tribute. The news was too late last week to include something within the programme, so we have a tribute to a very special person coming along now. Good evening, whoever you are. It's lovely to see you, and you are most welcome to A Date with a Dinner Set. Fantastic. Do enjoy and groove along to our next bit of music, which oh yeah, Jeannie, fantastic. Alison, you started us. You've only got yourself to blame, really, haven't you? Yes, is the only answer to that. A little tribute to an absolutely amazing gentleman who passed away last Sunday, Quincy Jones, the composer, the arranger, trumpeter, pianist, and most of all, outstanding music producer. Worked with so many artists, as you saw there from a little set of photos I put together. Just some of the people that Quincy has worked with over the years, people like Frank Sinatra, Paul McCartney, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, at least 3 of his albums. And absolutely incredible man. And I've been reading during the week some anecdotes, trying to find one suitable to broadcast, and the best ones are just not suitable. Hilarious. Yes, read them for yourself. But what a guy, just so admired in the business. Hit after hit he has produced. But that one, which you sort of all very quickly identified as the theme to Austin Powers, which indeed it did become in 1997, goes all the way back. It was actually composed in 1962. 1962, and it was an original composition by Quincy Jones. 1962. He included it. It was the opening track on his album Big Band Bossa Nova. This was the time when the bossa nova craze was just absolutely sweeping the whole of America and beyond. Quite a short-lived phase, the bossa nova, but Quincy was there with that amazing hit Soul Bossa Nova, to give it its real title. As somebody said, it's gone past in the chat room, but that's what it was. And he said he composed it in 20 minutes. Now, sometimes when people say that, a bit like what Henry Mancini said, I composed Moon River in 10 minutes, you think, maybe. But I reckon Quincy Jones probably did do that, the outline of Soul Bossa Nova in 20 minutes. But that grooviness was a little tribute to the man Quincy Jones, who passed away last week. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of grooviness. Oh, he also did the soundtrack to many films, including The Italian Job in 1969, by the way. Multi-talented man. Of course. Here we go, Bob. Hey, Jeannie, you're famous. You're famous. Fantastic. So Soul Bossa Nova from 1962, which got a whole new lease of life in the Austin Powers trilogy from 1997. I know in the past I've shown the Austin Powers dance, but I got into trouble with the copyright powers to be, so we didn't dare do that one this evening. Hence, Mr. Bean making a legal appearance on my piano ear this evening. Hope you enjoyed that one. So today, the 10th of November, of course it is Remembrance Sunday, and more about that in just a minute. But we always look up something a little more bizarre to celebrate. And today is International Tongue Twister Day. And I've got one scrolling across the top for you to try. I am not going to attempt to make a fool of myself, because I don't need to attempt to. I do that every week anyway by saying it. But if you wish to read that one to yourself, or if you have somebody else in the house, to them, and see how you get on, that should be scrolling across your screen now. According to the Guinness Book of Records, that one scrolling across your screen, actually that's quite tongue-twisting itself, scrolling across your screen, is the most twisty of tongue twisters. So you heard it today. Apparently it's celebrated on the second Sunday of November each year. Oh dear, Bob. Well, you know, that you've been obviously saying too many of the rude ones, which I found on the internet. Again, oh, is it? Oh, I missed that one. Apparently, and I'll say this for anybody watching during the week who doesn't get to see the chat. Hannah has just said that on Friday, which was Friday, November the 8th, it was World Pianist Day. Gosh, I missed a treat there. Fantastic. Well, Alison, thereby hangs a tale. Clearly not. I looked up silly dance, green screen, chroma key. and it came up with Mr. Bean. It said, you can use this whenever you like. So, Alison, with a little bit of jiggery-pokery, you too could have Mr. Bean dancing on your piano at home. Gosh. So you're going to have to remind me where you are. And it is very mild. Because I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's not coming up properly on my screen, but I'm not entirely sure who we are talking to. But is it good that you're having mild weather at this time of year? I don't know. It's very very odd, isn't it? When it is mild, and when we see the storms that accompany the mild weather, that makes it all the more disturbing. Ah, Portugal, fantastic. So we have 2 more songs to do, so I better get a move on. I'm looking at the clock. I've been rattling along far too much, twisting the tongue, and producing genies from bottles, it would seem. We will move on. Yes, indeed, that was Billy Mayerl. Where are you, Billy? There he is. And it was from 1933, Ace of Hearts. Ace of Hearts from the Four Aces Suite of 1933. Billy Mayerl, who started with his own little dance band in the Savoy Hotel in the 1920s, and then went on to compose over 350 of his own little ditties, including those. He also did a huge number of transcriptions, ran a jazz correspondence course, and for a short time toured the UK and Europe with his band of merry men, as it were, and ladies. He yes, he didn't live very long, actually, sadly, and who knows how many more hundreds of pieces he would have composed had he gone on to play. It's interesting that Paddington, I know what you mean in Ace of Hearts, Bob. There's just little hints about the whoops-a-daisy type of rhythm that's going on. And I was thinking about Paddington because the new film came out on Friday, I believe, yet to see it. But of course, that little snippet of music which we heard there was from the TV series, and that bit of music was composed by Herbert Chappell, a very iconic bit of TV music. Just a reminder then, if you like what you are seeing and hearing, to press the like button. Make sure it's the one on the left, the one pointing up. We're still getting some rogue thumbs down. Well, they may not be rogue, I don't know. But if you want to press the thumbs up, then please do. We would love to see thumbs up on the channel. So today, of course, is Remembrance Sunday. And tomorrow will itself be Armistice Day. So I thought it was appropriate that we should end today with a piece of contemplative music. Not that one, not the one we played for the last 2 years. A new piece of music for A Date with a Dinner Set. It's actually a piece of organ music. And the reason I'm playing it is that when I was putting away my music at the end of last week's show, I dropped the book and it fell open. And I thought, you know what? That would be a really nice contemplative one with which to end A Date with a Dinner Set next Sunday on Remembrance Sunday. It may or may not be known to you. It's one of my favourite bits of quiet organ music, and I'm chosen to do a version of it tonight to end the programme before we say goodnight in our usual way. I do hope you enjoy. something a little thoughtful and quiet to end. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what it was. So it's a piece of organ music by Léon Boëllmann from his Suite Gothique. And he only lived 34 years, but he composed quite a bit of very lovely organ music and choral music and orchestral music in that time. So that's what you were listening to, the Prayer to Notre-Dame from Suite Gothique, an organ piece. As I say, that was our quiet end for Remembrance Sunday. Thank you so much for being here, as always, on A Date with a Dinner Set programme 225. And I do wish you a very good week that is to come. And I look forward to the great pleasure of playing for you again next Sunday. Thanks so much for listening, and all the very best. Good night.